All right, we have 3 more examples. I'm going to do them on separate paper just so I have more room, but I want you to try to fit them on the note sheet if you can. Here's number 2. We are going to do the square root of 104. So again, I'll show you both methods. This time let's start with the method 2, which is the tree or the barn. So I'm going to start by looking at this factor tree. Well, I know I can multiply 2 times 52 to get 104. And then 52 can be broken down into 2 and 26. What about 26? That can be broken into 2 and 13. So now I'm down to all of my prime factors. If you want to, you can go ahead and rewrite them all in a barn. We have 2, 2, 2, 13. Well, remember, we can only take things out of our barn in pairs of 2 because this is a square root. So I have a pair of 2's here. I'm going to bring that down out of the root. That 2 and the 13 have to stay. So then we have the square root of 2 times 13. Well, this is where we do outside, outside, inside, inside. Is there anything to multiply on the outside? No, so we just have 2. But then on the inside, we multiply. Inside times inside, 2 times 13 is 26. So 2 times 26. Well, if you want to use method 2, then we have the square root of 104. Again, we need our perfect squares, so we know we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, etc. And we need to figure out what's the biggest perfect square that we can divide into 104. Well, 36 doesn't go, 25, we just keep going, and it turns out that 4 is the biggest one that can go into 104. So that's going to be the square root of 4 times what? Well, 4 times 26 gives us 104. The square root of 4 we know is 2, so we cross that out and put a 2. That 2 is outside of the root, and then the root 26, that one is stuck. Of course, check 26. Are there any perfect squares in 26? No. The factors of that are 2 and 13, so there are no perfect squares there. So this is going to be our answer, 2 root 26. So no matter which way you did it, we get the same answer. Let's do number 3. This is negative root 48. Ignore the negative for now. We'll just bring that down in our answer later. So I want you to go ahead and try this, pause the video, and then check your work afterwards. All right, let's check our work. So this negative sign, we're just going to bring it down, and I'm going to start with method 1, and that is the perfect square. So I'm going to bring down that negative. Well, we need to know what perfect square can go into 48. We've got our list here. We looked at 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, etc. So what can go into 48? Well, I know 4 can go into 48, but can we go bigger than that? Yes, we can. 16 can actually go into 48. So this is going to be root 16 times 3, because 16 times 3 is 48. Well, we know the square root of 16 is 4. So now we have this negative, we have that 4, and then the square root of 3 is just stuck. So we bring down the square root of 3. And that's our answer. Well, what if you used the factor tree? Let's check that. Negative square root of 48. Again, leave the negative for now. We'll get it later. Well, 48, we know that can go to 2 and 24. 24 can go to 2 and 12. And then 12 can go to 3 and 4. And 4 can go to 2 and 2. So now we've got all these prime factors. If you want to write them in a barn, you can. And that's going to be 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3. Again, if you don't feel like rewriting them, you can group up the pairs out here. I see a pair of 2's, and I see another pair of 2's. And then, of course, left over is a 3. Same thing here. We have a pair of 2's to bring out of our barn. We have another pair of 2's to bring out of our barn. And then inside the root, we're left with 3. Again, we're going to do outside, outside, inside, inside. Well, we multiply this 2 times the 2, and that gives us the 4. That root 3, inside, inside, nothing to multiply. But what did we not bring down in our answer yet? that negative sign because we want the negative version of this answer. So we need to bring down that negative. I really should have brought it down in this step too, so that we didn't forget it. So we have negative 4 root 3. One more problem. Number 4, again, try this one on your own and then check your work with me. We have 2 root 108. All right, this time I'm going to start with the factor tree. So if we use the factor tree here, then we can look at 2 and 54. We know that 54 can go to 2 and 27. We know 27 can go to 3 and 9. And we know 9 can go to 3 and 3. So we have all of our factors. We can rewrite these in a barn. We have 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. Well, now we bring out our pairs of animals. I see a pair of 2s, so I can bring down a 2. Now, what should I have brought over here? My mistake here, I should have brought this 2 on the outside of our barn, because that 2 needs to be brought down here as well. So whenever there's a number out front, you should bring it in every single step, and that was my bad. So I'm bringing down that 2. I can bring out a pair of these 2s. I can bring out a pair of 3s. These are all being multiplied, and then of course that 3 is stuck, so the square root of 3. Well, this is where we do outside, outside, inside, inside. So we have 2 times 2 times 3. That's going to give us 12. And then, of course, the square root of 3. So our answer here is 12 root 3. And let's check if you did it the other method. So we have 2 and the square root of 108. Well, of course, we know the other method is finding those perfect squares. So we'll bring down our 2. And we need to find the biggest perfect square that goes into 108. So let's list them out. We have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100. Oops, can't see them. So those are our perfect squares that could potentially go into 108. And now we just start at the biggest and we go down our line. 100 doesn't work. 81 doesn't work. And we keep dividing them. And in your calculator, you can just do 108 divided by 100 divided by 81, etc. So we should find that 36 is actually the biggest perfect square that can go into this. So if you chose a smaller number than 36, then you should have gotten an answer that still had a perfect square in it, and then you would need to take out that perfect square at the end. So we get 36. Well, 36 times 3 gives us 108. And now we can go further. The square root of 36 is 6. So we bring down that 2. We have that 6 now. And then stuck in that square root is the 3. Outside, outside, 6 times 2 gives us 12. Inside, inside, nothing to multiply, it's 3. So 12 root 3. You've got some homework problems on the back of this note sheet, and actually some of them are the same as the quiz problems on Canvas.